I'm not a big fan of loot either. I don't like corporate mandated mascots that I'm told are meant to be cute, especially when they just don't tick that box. Loot is no Pikachu, but maybe I'm talking there as a 21-year-old boomer. Regardless of what you feel about Loot's aesthetics and his now status as a leader of the game, a mascot if you will, the new card's pretty dumb, and I've got 2 decks to show it off, and I'm using the art from the old one for the decks because this art is particularly gross. It gives off very Sonic the Hedgehog movie vibes if he was about to consume your soul. I'm talking about pre-visual redesign there of the Sonic thing. So we're going to play a couple of games with this green-black loot deck, and then a little bit with Rugged Loot as well. In essence, the new loot is 5 mana, a 2/4, Beast Noble. It has Double Strike, Vigilance, and Haste because the game's mascot has to do everything. And then on that theme, it has 3 exhaustible abilities, so once per game abilities. Green and tap, add 3 mana of any color. Blue and tap, draw 3 cards. Red and tap, loot 3 damage to any target. So basically, it's got a Black Lotus. People are saying it's Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual does only gives you black mana. Like, Ritual's very rare. The whole point of Dark Ritual is that it very much strings you into being in black. I'm going to call this a Black Lotus ability because it feels more iconic, although it just costs 1 mana and Lotus doesn't. But either way, 1 mana, make 3 mana. It's Lotus/Ritual. The blue one is draw 3 cards, that's Ancestral Recall, and the red one is deal 3 damage to a target. Now, casting loot is overrated. I'm not going to cast in this deck, but I will show some footage in a moment of me just drawing it over and over and over again in our opening hands and such. The deck can cast it. Multiple Malt Tenders or Malt Tenders under Agatha's Soul Cauldrons, which is a key part of the deck, allows us to make other colours of mana, and thus we can cast loot. But really, you want to put loot in the bin. And we want to do that by hitting it off of any one of our 8 dredges, Cachet Grab, and Dredger's Insight. I guess Tyvar is also a mill card. And I think and Malt Tender also has mill written on it. I think we need a little bit more discard. We're playing some copies of Bitter Triumph here, which has an additional cost. We can discard the loots that are in our hand. And Quag Feast, the other removal spell that you could cut for other Bitter Triumphs, is a mill spell again. It's a weird balance to try and find, but there probably is one. And the deck is an Insidious Roots Agatha's Soul Cauldron deck. So what I mean by that is that Agatha's Soul Cauldron says you may spend mana as any color to activate abilities of creatures you control, but more importantly, you can exile a creature from your bin, put a counter on a creature you control, and then creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have the abilities of all cards that have been eaten or put in to the Soul Cauldron. We're going to put loot in the bin, we're going to eat it with Agatha's Soul Cauldron, we're going to put a counter on a creature, and suddenly that creature has all 3 abilities, not the keywords, but the abilities of Loot the Pathfinder. It can make us lose a mana, draw us cards, and shoot stuff with a bolt. Now, further to that, we've got Insidious Roots, a card that has seen quite a bit of play in Standard already, and it's quite a strong magic card. And I think it's about to get a huge amount stronger for 2 reasons. Anyway, the card itself is 2 mana, enchantment, creature tokens you control can tap to add mana of any color, which is relevant for casting loot, I guess. And whenever 1 or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 0/1 green plant token. That's another tension point for the deck. How do we get things to leave the graveyard? We've got a few things in here. Tyvar brings a thing back, Malt Tender exiles creatures to make mana. Of course, Agatha's Soul Cauldron does the exact same thing. And then our mill cards like Cachet Grab and Dredger's Insight, when you put things in the bin, you do put 1 back into your hand. So if you choose a creature, it will trigger the roots. And then you get these plants, and the plants get a +1/+1 counter each time you do it. So if you do it a few times, you get a lot of plants that have +1/+1 counters on them, and thus have lootability as long as loot is inside the cauldron. On top of that, if Tyvar is in play, which is not hard to do, he's a 3 mana planeswalker, creatures with activate abilities can activate them as though they had haste. So you can't attack with the plants the turn that you make them, but they can all be activated. So you start to chain plants, tapping 1 for blue, drawing 3 cards off the next one, drawing a Cachet Grab, casting that, making a new route, tapping that, and so on and so on and so on. You start to create this insurmountable value engine. On top of all of that, Dredger's Insight is a new card that I think will push Insidious Roots up in terms of value. It says whenever 1 or more artifact or creature cards leave your graveyard, gain life. So it has incidental life gain strapped to it. So this will give Insidious Roots the ability to play against aggro decks. And then when this enchantment enters, mill 4 cards, which I think would just, those 2 lines of text together would make this card interesting. But no, it's better than interesting. It's just solid. You put an artifact, creature, or land. That's right, not just an artifact, not just a creature or a land, but any one of those 3 from the milled cards into your hand. Now, sometimes this will whiff, but it's very unlikely, right? When your deck is pretty much artifact, creatures, and or lands. The only thing that doesn't hit in our deck is our removal spells and our Cachet Grabs. So then we've got this, which will power up Insidious Roots. And the other reason Insidious Roots is about to get better is because Soul Cauldron and Loot seems pretty damn dumb. So that's basically the deck. There are a few other considerations. We're playing 4 copies of Bloodghast, simply because it's a creature that we can get back once we mill into the bin with the mill spells by playing a land. Now, having some sort of sack outlet for this would make it more tasty and more valuable, so I think you could lean into some aristocratic style engine in the deck. I have not added that. It's more just there to give us some value on board and give us more bodies to put counters on off of Agatha's Soul Cauldron when they inevitably try and kill our dorks. And then Malt Tender I think it's a face that you're going to learn to love or hate. It is the card that I previewed alongside a mythic that's going to see no standard play, but will be a commander, solid commander card. This is a miller card, an exile card from your graveyard to add 1 mana of any color and 2 separate abilities. In essence, it helps with the mill plan, but more primarily, it will exile things from the bin to trigger Insidious Roots, to trigger Dredger's Insight. As we're going to see in more later games, trigger Ketramos. Oh, baby, a triple. More importantly, it's a 1 mana dork that can be activated as of turn 2 to play spells and can be on top of Tyvar and activates at instant speed. Haste speed, thanks to Tyvar. And I've got 1 copy of Scrumming Emotions to give us a way to get back our Agatha's Soul Cauldrons that we didn't have from Dredger's Insight if it got milled off of Cachet Grab, for example, which only allows us to get. Oh no. Ignore me. Cachet Grab is so good. Mill 4 cards and put a permanent from among the jihad. Both of these cards allow you to dig for your Soul Cauldron, so the combo is, significantly consistent, shall we say. And I guess we should give a little bit of a highlight to the Rug Loot deck. So, Rug Loot deck is a similar thing. Soul Cauldron and Loot, but really what we're looking to do is play Cachet Grab, because it allows us to mill things in the bin for Soul Cauldron, but we're playing Questing Druids to put counters on it itself. We're playing Fauna Shaman to get rid of bodies, to go find a loot or whatever we need, a Voldaren Thrill Seeker or Lily Splash Mentor in specific circumstances. Mentor allows us to flicker our creature, bring it back with a counter so it plays with Agatha's Soul Cauldron and reset exhaust abilities. Voldaren Thrill Seeker allows us to fire things at people's faces, but also get eaten by Agatha's Soul Cauldron, give a whole board that. Fear of missing out loots, chart of course loots, not loots in the creature name, but loots in the colloquial term. Either way, this is a lot more mid-rangey, a lot less combo, and won't make an insurmountable board state off the back of some silly enchantments. I don't think this is good, but we'll play at least 1 game with it as well. Either way, the point of this video is that I think Loot and Agatha's Soul Cauldron are bonkers together, and I'm playing unrefined versions of them, and they feel very strong. I can only imagine that the next Pro Tour, Loot and Agatha's Soul Cauldron will feature very prominently. My prediction is that the Roots card will also be alongside them. If you want to buy any single or sealed product in the North American Peninsula, you can from CoolStuffInc.com. Use the code Kenobi at checkout to get 5% off your order. Helps to support the show. Good stuff. Get one of these free sticker cards as well, so one of your draft chaff into Pleasant Kenobi's clown car for your party box. And my European friends over here in the old world, we've got MagicMadhouse.com. I am now sponsored by Magic Madhouse. They have free delivery on purchases over £30. And if you use the code, was on screen, I think it's Kenobi-Feb. I've cut this from the video if I was wrong, I've left it in if I was right. Let's get you 5% off your order, excluding pre-order and sale items. It's a good deal, it's a good time. Magic Madhouse have been a constant force for good in the Magic community in the UK, and now you can get stuff on them and support the show. If you want to check them out, including their social links, I'll put it in the description below. Use the code, get some money off. It's all good, baby. Let's play some Magic. Our opening hand has Llanowar Elves and Agatha's Soul Cauldron in it, so we're going to keep this. For once, I didn't draw loot. The last 3 games, I've drawn multiple loots, which is pretty frustrating. We're going to go ahead, just cast a load of mana dorks. I assume they won't get us good with some sort of Wrath here. They might have a removal spell. I'm not too familiar with the Wraths that are available in Standard right now. They're going to Cachet Grab. They're going to be on something similar to us, some sort of bug loot deck, I think. There's a lot of graveyard decks going on. There was a Reanimator last time around, wasn't there? Which never really got its claws into current Standard. And now we've got Kiora Gearhulk decks and Loot Agatha Soul Cauldron decks. Interesting that we might need a bit more graveyard, especially with Bloodghast now in the format too. Rona Herald of Invasion. Draw a card, discard a card. A Looter is pretty good for loot. We've just drawn one of our loots, of course. We do have, 1 way to discard in our deck, but only 1. So we need to hit 2 CMCs worth of spells off Quagfeast here to kill the Rona. Let's give it a go. Did we get it? No. Wait, we did? Wait, what? Oh, less than or equal to. We have to hit less than. That was a dangerous play. Very good for us now, though, because we can get Rona's ability. We're going to steal their Rona ability, put the counter on Malt Tender, and then at the end of their turn, we're going to go ahead, draw a card, discard a card, and put loot in the bin. I think Quagfeast is actually worse than I thought, because you've got to hit lower, and we do have 4 drops we can hit in our deck, which is bad. Wait, no, that's really good. Less than or equal to. Jeez, that's really good. Way better than I thought. Now, the worst thing to happen to us here would be blow up with Soul Cauldron, because then we're just left with, just a load of dorks, right? They play a Tyvar, which can reanimate their Kitsa, which means we should have held up our Cauldron for interaction in their turn. That was a blunder on my part. They have their own Malt Tender now, which can be activated thanks to Tyvar giving it pseudo haste. It's not full haste, because you can't attack with it, but it allows you to tap dorks, which is the main thing that Tyvar enables, right? They're going to make a mana by exiling a land out of their bin, and they play their own Cauldron. Oh boy, okay, it's Cauldron time. So now we need to have our Cauldron untapped to eat our loot, so they can't. not. What I might do is discard my Bloodghast, try and lure their Cauldron out of them. We're in an interesting spot now because we've both got Cauldrons online. Discard a Bloodghast. Hopefully we hit a land here because we'll force them to Cauldron us. Yep, here we go. Let's go Wastewood Verge. Trigger the Bloodghast. Come on, activate your Cauldron. You know you want to. Nah, they didn't fall for it. Dredge's Insight. Probably should activate my Malt Tender to get rid of this Bloodghast to have really pushed the idea that we had like a big threat on board. We're going to hit Malt Tender on our side of the board, which will gain us a life. We'll play Malt Tender. We'll go to combat, and we're just going to slap Tyvar and kill him with our 1-1. And we'll put a 1-1 into... We won't put the 1-1 into Llanowar, into the opponent here, because we're going to keep some mana up to pretend we've got something. I guess discarding, like, loot to the Malt Tender, eating it, then puts loot into our Cauldron, and allows us to activate Llanowar Elves, and so on and so on, but they might activate their Cauldron here. They did not. Don't forget, we're playing against someone who's qualified for the Pro Tours. They're better than most content creators, let's be honest. Not better than me, though. I'm a god. They make a red mana. They're casting their own loot here. Okay. They've got a loot on board and we haven't. We can cast loot next turn by using our Malt Tenders, to be fair. Is that our line? Is that what we're doing? We're going to eat their Kitsa, I think, at end of turn. So they attack with loot. We're going to eat Kitsa. Try and get it out of them. Because loot being in the bin is so much stronger than being in play for us, because we can then have all our creatures have access to that for as long as we've got counters on them, which we'll have at least 2. So they're going to eat their Kitsa instead. Put a counter on the loot. Sure. We get a 3-5. We're going to take 6 damage here, because this has double strike. Loot is such a ridiculous collection of words, right? And then we're going to loot now. Draw a card, discard a card. We're going to discard loot. We're going to untap. We're going to activate Agatha's Soul Cauldron. We're going to go to our graveyard, and we're going to eat loot. We'll put the counter on Bloodghast. Now, frustratingly, we have access to 2 bolts from the loot, but the 2 bolts need red mana. And to get red mana, we have to activate our Malt Tender. We get 1 red here, or we can put a green into here, make 3 red, but then we only have access to 1 bolt. So I think what I'm going to start with is drawing a card. So we're going to exile a card from a graveyard, make a blue, and then we're going to draw 3 cards. We're looking for, like, I don't know, some way to put a counter on our stuff. Insidious Roots is kind of that. Play Insidious Roots. Now, we can take a thing from our bin, but there's nothing in our bin. We need to mill some. We've got a lot going on, but then again, so have they. We're just slammer jam a load of stuff into play here, I think. Make a Llanowar Elves here. We're going to go to combat and attack with the Llanowar Elves. Simply because if they block it, it gives us something to eat with a Malt Tender, and that gives us another Insidious Roots body, which has a counter on it, and thus gives us access to more loot abilities. So, in essence, they really don't want to block here, because it gives us, like, all sorts of stuff. They also don't know what's in our hand. We have 2 cards. They are lands, but they don't know about them. And Malt Tender currently represents just 1 mana, not 3, because you need a green to feed into it. We have no green on board. They take the damage, which is the correct thing to do, because we can make an Insidious Root off of it. I think the deck needs a little bit more ways to put counters on things. There is that 1 detective that can be exiled from the graveyard to put a counter on a thing for 1 green, I think it is. That card seems pretty good in the green-black version of loot. I think loot's about to be a $30 mythic, right? This thing will probably see someplace somewhere in extended formats. I say extended. Non-rotating formats. I guess Agatha's Soul Cauldron decks can still play it in those formats too. Plaza of Heroes. That might be a sweet bit of tech. To be able to, oh no, you got to have loot in play to use Plaza, I think. So they're going to exile their own loot to do the same thing we're doing. Importantly, our thing here doesn't do that to their graveyard. We can't exile things from their graveyard like Deathlike Shaman could have done. So we're both on the multiple loot activations all over the board. Do you reckon Standard's going to look like this? That would be pretty funny, right? They're going to kill our Malt Tender because it's one of our counter creatures. I am going to activate in response to eat something to create a root, at which point they can make a red here, they can make a red here. They're also constrained on red mana a little bit, because they can go green into this to make triple red. They're still constrained. They're going to do 3 damage to this. We're going to... No, we're not going to exile anything because I'm an idiot. Okay, we're going to draw a card, discard a card. Discarding... I guess the Llanowar Elf is a good idea, just to give us some food for the Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Yeah, so we have 2 bits of food in the Soul Cauldron bin right now. They attack for 6 with loot, no blocks. We only have 2 ways to eat things out of the bin right now, our own Malt Tender and our own Agatha's Soul Cauldron, so we are not going to be able to eat more than 2 things. So sacrificing a creature there was bad, basically. We're going to go Cachet Grab, see what we hit. We're going to mill 4 cards and put a permanent card from among them into our hand. We'll put Tyvar into our hand, which is actually kind of bonkers here. Do they have interaction for our graveyard? But we don't. They do have loot for the Tyvar, though, so we have to tick up the Tyvar before they bolt it. They're gonna bolt in response to what I do with Agatha's Soul Cauldron here. And we haven't played our land for turn, so we're gonna go activate. We need to put counters on things. It's really important we put counters on things. Or is it? Because we're about to use the Tyvar, so it's fine. We're going to exile a card from our graveyard to make a mana. It needs to be a creature. So we're going to exile Malt. We're going to exile Llanowar Elves to make a green. This will make us a root. Now, that root does have loot abilities, but doesn't have haste. So now we're going to activate Soul Cauldron. We're going to eat from our graveyard this Malt Tender, targeting this Bloodghast, which will probably provoke a bolt, I'd imagine. We gain life, we make a root, we put a counter here. We go Tyvar, we uptick Tyvar. They're going to bolt in response, right? So we're going to go... No, we're not. We're going to generate some red. 3 red. Well, they're going to uptick and target Malt Tender. We're going to bolt loot off of one of our plants in the house pseudo haste. There are no other creatures in the bin, sadly, so we actually can't make another root from our own graveyard. We'll bolt the loot again. They're going to activate their loot now. They've got spells in hand and 3 mana as well. There's any number of things. They're going to draw 3. They're going to bolt one of our creatures. I really want them to kill our Bloodghast so we can play a land and get Bloodghast out of the bin and Insidious Root. That would be sweet. Target creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Sure, we're going to bolt it again. Took us 3 bolts to get there, but I'm happy with that. We've got a land and a body out of it. They still have loot here thanks to Agatha's Soul Cauldron though. And then we'll go to combat and we'll swing with 2 Llanowar Elves, taking them to 14. We're going to hold both lands in hand. They are both Bloodghast triggers further down the line, and they're loot fodder for looting with Rona, not for loot. I've realised that using the word loot to describe things now in the current game of Magic is a little bit confusing because we have a main character called Loot. They put another loot in the bin. There's 2 loots in the bin now. There was probably a way to play that turn a lot tighter, but loot gives you so many options that it gets quite confusing. I wonder if there's like an infinite combo thing with Relic of Legends here. I always see this as a historic combo card. I don't know why. It was in the Kethis deck, right? They're going to Seed of Hope, grab a land, get some life. Or mill, get a land, get a permanent, land, normally land, and gain 2 life. If they have an answer for our Soul Cauldron, it puts them back in the game, I think. But if they can't answer the Soul Cauldron with like our wall of countered creatures, it's going to be a problem. Yeah, instead of letting us carry on as you're meant to do in this event, they have scooped it up. They should have gave us another turn to really go mad. But, you know, they got Pro Tool testing to do, haven't they? They got Pro Tool testing to do. We're into another Pro Tool tester. To be honest, I said that is the same opponent as earlier. They've just got Pro Tool with a number on the end of them. It could be anything. We have got Llanowar Elves and Malt Tenders and Tyvars. No Agatha's Soul Cauldron just yet. They're on probably some form of artifact deck from the looks of things. We'll go for a, I guess turn 1 Llanowar Elves is a turn 2 Tyvar. Although onto a board of pressure, that's not all that hot because they'll probably just kill it. Oh. This thing gets bigger and bigger based on artifact number. Okay, so maybe trading with the Ginger Brute there was a good idea. We drew a Quag Feast. Can we Quag Feast the Mendicant Core? I assume we can. Let's try it. We're going to mill 2. It's less than 4, so it dies. What a silly magic card. I actually think the wording of it still confuses me. It's confused me for 2 rounds in a row now. Ginger Brute. Yes. We haven't got a lot of action here, but looks like they don't either. Ward in the Skies is pretty decent. I might have to Quag Feast that with my second copy, although I was looking for like a bigger payoff, but it's kind of a payoff, right? Scries them. 1 top. Oh dear. Cache Grabe. Okay, let's go cash. Okay, we hit a Bloodghast for our land drop here. That's pretty good. Because we get the Llanowar Elves. Maybe we should have got the further mill spell, I'm unsure. Here comes the Bloodghast. Does not have haste because they're not below 10 life. Let's Quag Feast the Warden. We'll exile this swamp for now. Yeah, we did it. I don't quite understand how we keep doing it. It just doesn't kill big things, right? If we mill like a 3 and a 0 against a 6 drop, it doesn't get us there. Yeah, they map onto their Spyglass Siren. It's now a 2-2. They put another Spyglass Siren in the bin. They attack us for 2/1/1s. I'm probably happy to trade one of these off now at this point. Let's make their board smaller. Cool. They start their engines up to 3. We find a Cache Grabe. I just played my land for turn, which was very silly, because now if they block this, it doesn't come back. We get in for 2. Right, we want to hit an Agatha's Soul Cauldron here. That would be real gas. We did not hit a Soul Cauldron. We did hit Insidious Roots, though, which I'm absolutely going to play now. See, if I'd been smart, waited a second main, I could have got the Bloodghast. Oh, no, the Bloodghast didn't die. The Bloodghast did not die. Insidious Roots now, it creates bodies when we exile creatures with our Malt Tender. The Roots do not have reach. In my head, I always think they have reach, but that would be pretty damn pushed. They're about to hit maximum speed, but they don't have a payoff for it in play. So this Ginger Brute will get through. That's 3 damage. Now, what does maximum speed do for them with access to 1 blue-white or 1 blue-black mana? Realm. Okay. End of your turn, my friend. I'm going to exile a card from my graveyard and make a green. It's going to be an inconsequential creature. It's not loot, because we want that for when we find the Soul Cauldron. We actually only have 2 creatures. Okay, we'll get rid of this Llanowar Elves. This will create us a... Yeah, that's right. Go to my turn, untap and find Dredge's Insight. We're going to cast Dredge's Insight. We're going to hit Agatha's Soul Cauldron, so we're just off to the races now. We gain a life for that. We're going to go Tyvar. We're gonna untap our Llanowar Elves. Do they have a removal spell for the Llanowar Elves here? No, they're just putting mana into the Ginger Brute, sure. It's a fun way to tap out, I guess. Then we're going to exile a card from our graveyard to make a green mana. It's going to be artifact or creature, I guess. So we've got 2 loots in the bin, so we'll eat 1 loot. Gain a life, make a root, cast Agatha's Soul Cauldron. We'll activate Agatha's Soul Cauldron. We'll go to our graveyard and eat the other loot. Creature we control. We'll put a counter on Bloodghast, I guess. We can't make any... Oh, we can make mana because that's how what Roots does. Jesus, it's so dumb. It's so unbelievably dumb. Let's make 3 red. Let's go ahead and bolt this one. We're in full Insidious Roots control now. Bolt this one. And that gives us, like, lethal on board next turn, probably. Through a combination of bolts and attacks. Bolt the network. Oh, okay, so they're trying to, like... This does damage to you equal to the number of artifacts you control, which is interesting, I guess. We'll mill 3. Hit nothing exciting. We'll... mill another card. Insidious Roots. We'll make a green. Add 3 mana to our pool. Triple blue. We'll draw 3 cards, find another Insidious Roots. We'll cast Dredge's Insight for a green and a 1 blue. It'll mill 4. We'll put something into our hand. We'll go Llanowar Elves into hand. We'll gain some life. We'll make some roots. Roots, bloody roots. We'll play a Llanowar Wastes. We'll trigger both Bloodghasts. Both Bloodghasts will come back. This will make life gain and roots. Life gain and roots. I'll draw some more cards. Let's draw 3 more cards. Why not? Got any creatures in the bin? No. We'll... nope. We'll make a green. We'll make 3 blue. We'll draw 3 more cards. Bloodghast in hand. We'll draw 3 more cards. Looking for mill spells, really. Another Soul Cauldron. We'll draw 3 more cards. We hit Cash Grab. Right, Cache Grabbe. Let's go Cache Grabbe. Hit Llanowar Elves into the bin. We'll put the Llanowar... We'll decline to put... No, we'll put it in our hand. Make another root. We'll play Insidious Roots. We'll go to end step. We'll discard 7 cards. Our opponent's kind of at our mercy because of the event, but I want to finish with the bolts, right? They're going to haunt the network again. Sure. We go to 17. And they scoop. They don't even let us bolt them to death. Their Pro Tool testing's too important. Oh, come on, opponent. Have a heart. Have a life. A life? That's not what I meant. That's a bit unfair, isn't it? I think the Pro Tour is a life. Anyway, we're about to bolt them. We're going to untap. We're going to have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, we had lethal next turn. That turn, I don't think we had lethal because they blocked the 2 biggest things. They weren't going to block. They wanted out of the match, right? They were our captive prisoner. But I'll take it. This deck is very silly. It's Pro Tour opponent time, and we're now on a variant of loot. I can cast it. We're in Rug Loot. It's got Soul Cauldron, but it's also like a more discardy, more cast loot kind of deck. So we're going to start with a Mana Dork, because it's always good. Opponent's got a Ghost Vacuum, which seems very, very good at beating what we're doing. Oh god. Is this the Insidious Root Ghost Vacuum loot format? We're going to try and cast loot and hope that's good enough. Can't cast Charter Course because our mana is awful. We'll go for a Cash Grab. We should have that first try and hit a blue land. We did not. We'll take a Forest. Play a Molt Tender. And pass the turn. Honestly, screen cap this. I think this is going to be a thing we're going to be seeing a lot. The Pro Tour testers are probably thinking about this. I think Insidious Roots is about to be one of the best cards in the format. Now, don't kill our Molt Tender. That's access to our blue mana, and I'll be livid. Overlord of the Baelmurk. Sure. What's in the bin there? They got back the Molt Tender and made a root. Okay. We drew River Pyre Verge. We can just play loot this turn. It can attack. It's pretty good. We're going to do that. Molt Tender's going to eat this mountain. It's got Vigilance as well, which is kind of wild, isn't it? So we get in for 4 with our 5 mana do everything. It's funny because our opponent's probably on strictly green-black like we were, but is almost certainly playing some number of loots in their deck, right? Okay, so Tyvar's going to mill here. Hit a body. Oh, Ketramose. Oh, that's exciting, because then whenever you exile them from graveyard, you get to lose life and draw a card. That's some good shit. Okay, I'm into this. Abzan graveyard shit. Because Ghost Vacuum then triggers your Ketramose, so even in the matchups where your opponent's not on a graveyard deck, the Ghost Vacuum still does stuff for the Ketramose. That said, they exile the Ketramose for a counter, so well, what the fuck do I know, eh? But they put another Ketramose into hand off of the Dredge's Insight. So I'm not even paying attention to their board state here. I'm just excited about the tech that I'm seeing. We get to bolt Tyvar next turn. We really need a way to kill the Insidious Roots. We're not playing enough like permanent removal. We've got a lot of creature removal. But we need things to... Agatha's Soul Cauldron. In the bin, though, luckily. Put a Tyvar into their hands. Killing Tyvar doesn't do a whole lot. Overlord ticks down. We find a Voldaren Thrillseeker. It's largely useless here. I guess it gives us like the ability to shoot them in the face. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not that exciting. Post-combat though, I guess. Did I dream that we drew a green-blue land? Where did it go? I must have done. Okay. Let's go forest that they know about. Go to combat. So we can loot at them. Llanowar Elves at Tyvar. It gets them 2 less untaps, right? They are tapped out. They can ghost vacuum. Oh, they ghost vacuum to create a fucking 1/2, don't they? Okay. That was silly of me. Llanowar Elves will die here unless we strike to save the plant, to kill the plant. I think we do, because killing the Tyvar gives them 1 less untap, and I like that here. Gives them 1 less mana there as well. Almost multiple less mana, should I say. Okay, so we got there with that. We can now chart a course to just draw 2 cards. We can Voldaren Thrillseeker and keep up mana. We could have also probably back up the loot for loads of damage there. That's probably... well. Let's make a Voldaren Thrillseeker. We'll put the counters on loot to make him a real threat next turn. We could chart a course now, but I think having 2 blockers and the ability to... Loot doesn't fire itself off now, but the Voldaren Thrillseeker does. It's only until end of turn with backup, right? Yeah, my bad. Okay. Well, there's a Ketchamos. There's a Tyvar. Mill 3, okay. Yeah, Bloodghast back. Maybe we should have charted a course. Maybe we really needed the card draw. They exile the Ketchamos, which will draw them a card and lose them a life, which puts them into kill range. And by kill range, I mean, I don't even know where the fuck I'm going in terms of damage here. This was way less more powerful than the Insidious Roots version. They exile with Molt Tender, they trigger Ketchamos, they trigger Insidious Roots. Holy shit. I previewed Molt Tender. This card's going to be good, isn't it? Really good. Jubilant Brawler. They're going to mill again. They're going to find, what the fuck is this? Fairy Dream Thief. Exile from your graveyard, draw a card, lose 1 life. Interesting. The Dredge's Insight does, like, offset the damage from Ketchamos. Will they attack here? No, they know they're, like, getting very far ahead on board, so attacking is bad, right? Okay, we drew another loot, which is less than ideal. Loot actually dies in combat to this plant right now. We're going to make a blue. We're going to make a green. We're going to cast Charter Course. Draw Llanowar Elves and Copperline Gorge. They both suck here. Because we can get first strike damage on it to do 4. And then we can bolt it, which doesn't get us there. We can bolt it plus Voldaren Thrillseeker it. But then we're using all of our resources to kill 1 fucking token. It's pretty funny. I guess they need to be careful of me having a 4 damage instant speed burn spell. Come on, that's not very likely, is it? Us using our green or blue there means you can't draw. We should have just drawn 3 off loot. That'd have been way better. Okay, let's go make 3 blue. Oh, we can't make 3 blue because we've already done it. Oh, okay. The game is pretty much over at this point, I think. But we'll let our opponent play it out and do some more stuff. So let's talk about what we've learned from a handful of games playing with new loot. The green-black base versions, whether it be this Abzan version with Ketchamos, which I really like the idea of, if I'm completely honest, or the one that I was playing where you got maybe a bit of a red splash to help cast your loot off if your Molt Tenders find the blue. I think that's way better. Like Insidious Roots, plus the Dredge's Insight stuff, plus the Soul Cauldron. Being able to play Ghost Vacuum alongside Ketchamos probably makes the mirror a lot better. This version, where I'm just trying to slam around the creature, already feels very clunky, but to be honest, I've done less refinement of this too, so I'm not really giving this much of a chance. A more mid-rangey, less combo-focused loot deck probably will exist in some capacity, but it's just not as good as this, right? Like, look at that board state. They are just popping off over there, exiling stuff and making things and doing stuff. Like, once the engine's online, there's very little that's going to stop this from being, like, insurmountably good, right? All of these creatures with Tyvar right now make mana. Ketchamos draws you a card each time. This offsets the life loss, so you won't lose there. Molt Tender enables it. I mean, maybe they deck themselves. Their deck has 13 cards left in it, but I don't think we survive because we're just going to die to, like, them attacking with 5 plants, right? We can bolt something with loot right now, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't stop Ketchamos, doesn't kill the huge things. Like, we could kill Tyvar, I guess. Turn off some of the mana, but does that even matter right now? That'll just make them go to combat, I guess. Let's go to blockers then. Let's go... A lifelinking, indestructible, menacing... Oh my god, it's got 3 keywords on it. Of course it has. Holy shit. Okay, we'll block like this. We'll kill Tyvar with Voldaren Thrillseeker. And I guess we bolt their face. And then... a load of stuff happens. Are we dead? Yeah, we're very dead. We didn't block 4 of them, and it was like 10, 8, 7, and 6, which I'm not a mathematician, but that does add up to dead. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I think it was at least a little bit insightful to where the metagame might be going, where especially early hours when you're playing in Europe now, because I'm playing its Pro Tour players and not all these scrubby content creators like myself. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. I know Aetherdrift's hype is very low. It feels like it's a low point for Magic this January, February, but, you know, the game still plays sweet, even if Magic the Gathering wearing hats on the holodeck isn't all that exciting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. It's tough for now.